So in a transaction, in a real estate transaction, there are two sides, right? There's two different types of agents. You have a listing agent, and those are the ones that are actually selling the property. And then you also have a buyer's agent. And the buyer's agent, really, they're there to help represent the buyer, help them find the properties. And, as a lender, my goal is to work in tandem with you, right, as a buyer's agent. So, our goal is to qualify the buyer, but also tag team, right? It's to be able to work together in making sure that buyer's offer is accepted, right? So tell us a little bit about the role of a buyer's agent and how you work with, how we work together.
So as a buyer's agent, and I've always loved working with buyers, not that I have not liked working with sellers. It's not that. But I think ever since that I started my business, everyone was like, get the listing, get the buyers. And the point is, for me growing my business, if I have the buyers, later on, they're going to want to list. But I want to be there from the time that I give them the keys to the time that they get married or they have kids or their kids are having kids to where they want to sell that house. And so I want to be there to see the changes that they make, the renovations that they make, and the things that go on behind the doors versus taking the keys away from them as a listing agent does. I want to hold their hand, help them throughout the process, give them the resources that they need, who to call, who to turn to. If I don't have the answer, I want to make sure that I can get it and help them and have them know that I'm there for them at all times, whether that be 9 o'clock at night or 5:30 in the morning. I've showed at both of those times for my clients, and I wouldn't do it any other way. Right now, I don't have kids myself, so I have the time to be there whenever they need me to be. And as a buyer's agent, I'll know the red flags that my clients might not see because they're not on this side of the transaction. And that goes into tying in working together. So we want to work in tandem because if I don't know the title company that my clients have chosen or the lender that they've chosen, we don't have that one-on-one relationship. So I can't promise that they're going to turn over the full honesty as if someone that I've been working with for so long. Like, we have that bond, and I'm going to know that if anything happens or goes south, I'm going to be the first to know, you're going to be the first to know, and most importantly, our clients are going to be the first to know. And everyone is going to be on the same page, and no one's going to be left behind because that's the last thing that we want.
Exactly. And, to that specific point, it's not just that we put together a pre-approval and then send the client out on their own and 3 months later, boom, we're in an actual escrow. It doesn't work that way. What we do is we'll prepare the pre-approval and just let Haley know that, okay, the clients, they're pre-approved, this is their range, and then they go out and they look at those homes, but then we'll customize the pre-approval letter based on the specific property that they're looking for. And Haley and I will get on the call and we'll talk about the various contingency windows, right? So we're going to talk about, okay, so how long do we need to have this escrow? So if there are a ton of offers, and based on from what I've seen, especially if they've been pre-underwritten, right? We've got that great service, Red Arrow Approval Express, a guaranteed rate. When they have already been pre-underwritten, maybe I can go 23 days, maybe, depending on what I see with the financials. But standard's about 30, 45 days. But that's the length of escrow. But then we'll narrow down in terms of the appraisal contingency. We'll talk about the lender contingency. So every single offer is custom tailored, and we tag team it, right? So when Haley submits the offer, I follow up with a phone call, calling that listing agent and telling them how great that client is qualified. This is generally what their FICO score is. I have the actual file in front of me in case that listing agent asks me any specifics, right? So I'm ready to go. It's not, oh yeah, they're good. Like, oh yeah, they're good doesn't work in this market, right? Yeah. So, do you have any more thoughts about that?
Yeah, I would definitely say, and that goes back into working in tandem together, because I have had clients where we've been one of 30 offers on the table and not heard from the lender for 3 days. And that's a problem. And it's not like I can go to the direct source or I can reach out. Yes, I can call and leave a couple voicemails or text and call the office, but at the same time, if I haven't worked with them before, they don't know who Haley Perry is. So they're not going to be reaching out versus now working with Ron. I know that I can message his wife on Facebook if I can't get a hold of him.
That's very true. And I've actually had a couple people do that. Not that I'm not responsive, but they just know my wife. Everyone loves my wife, Karen. So, and that's what it's about, right? You want to have a team that's resourceful.
Yeah, and you know that you can reach them at all times.
Perfect.